Welcome to Reality Redux with Angie and friends, where we recap and dish on the greatest hits and misses of reality TV. Last week, we discussed part one of the season premiere of Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. And this week, we tackle part two. We learned how to make a smash burger, saw Bonnie kick Camille out of Iberville, and heard more shameless plugs for the NFL than there are beads at Mardi Gras. Joining me are my friends Maggie Berg, fellow floor castmate and New Orleans bartender, and Ashley Steinbach, host of Locks of Love on the Hopecast Network. Our friend Jacob is under the weather this week. We hope to have him back next week, and we're ready to get started. So welcome, my honeys.
Thanks.
How y'all doing?
I just want to say it's Locks of Laughs.
Locks of Laughs. I said Locks of Love. That's dumb. I was thinking there is a Locks of Love out there, and they do great work, but not nearly as funny as you are.
I donated to them, actually, years ago. I did.
Oh, I love that for you. I'm so sorry. How did I get that wrong? That was silly. Locks of Laughs, everybody.
I think that there was like a copyright infringement. The podcast is Locks, L-O-X, X like your ex-boyfriend. We hate him of Laughs podcast.
I love that so much. Locks X. Locks X of Laughs. I got it. And I should have had it right the first time, but I thank you for the correction. Yeah, so she's also on the Hopecast Network, folks. She's a stand-up comedian, and she's bright, funny, and super cute. So please check her out. And Maggie's back. She was here with us last week. And so, like we said at the end of last week's episode, we can't wait to see how this Iberville story ends. And thank goodness there was a part two. So what do we think? Let's get into it.
Oh, man. Can I just, before we get into it, funny random New Orleans thing that, I've noticed when you say Reality Redux.
Yeah.
So in New Orleans, because we have so many French things, anything that ends with a UX or AUX is French, and so we don't say the X.
Right.
So when I see it, I'm like, redo.
I know.
Oh, yeah, no, everywhere else says it like America would, because we have a grocery chain out here called Bromart, and it's spelled Breaux Mart.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be Bromart.
Like Redux. I'm like, huh? Like, we say things so weird. There's a street in the French Quarter all over. It's spelled Burgundy. It's so weird for me to say it now. We pronounce it Burgundy.
Burgundy.
We pronounce things so weird. So sometimes when I hear them in action, there's a quarterback, his last name is Herbert, and now I'm like Abear. We call it Abear out here. We have to relearn American words
of dialects. I love it.
Yeah,
did you
it's
see me
French. It's the Cajun French whole thing. It's so funny. So you kept seeing Redux, and I was like, what? Where am I?
I get that, and I thought that too because I was thinking about a roux. Because I was thinking about Nate making a roux when he was making his shrimp and grits and all of that. And so I was thinking the same thing. And I mean, redo and redux have similar, roots. But it's funny you say that because I'm in St. Louis, and St. Louis has tons of French influence. And we've got streets that are on the opposite side of being like that because they are spelled in the French way. But the people in St. Louis don't pronounce it with a French accent. So, for example, there's a street called, it's spelled Grav as in Victor, Ois. And if you speak French, it'd be Gravois, right? Right? They call the cultured among us Gravois. Oui? Instead, it's Gravois. Gravois.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Did you take Gravois? Take Gravois. Are you kidding? There's oh my gosh. There's Bellefontaine, but they call it Bellefountain. There's it's just all over the place. There's let's see, Chateau. It's Choto.
No, wait.
No.
Yes,
that's offensive. That's actually offensive.
I think I'm offended.
Everyone knows
Chateau.
No, it's Choto. Choto. Take Choto. Are you kidding me? It took me. I'm still not used to it, and I refuse. I still say Gravois, and they look at me like I'm a bougie elitist.
That's really infuriating.
Right? And they can't call me bougie. They'd call me like Borgios or something. They wouldn't even. Anyway, sorry, St. Louisans. Sorry, friends in St. Louis who are listening, but you know that's wrong.
St. Louis, actually.
Get out.
My husband got it from a jeweler that I don't know the jeweler's name.
Huh. Well, maybe I could help you out with that.
Well, it's probably mispronounced anyway, so.
Yeah.
It's probably mispronounced. Yeah, even if I knew it, they'd say it differently. Yeah. It's Choto. So, it is interesting in New Orleans, the dialect is a little different and the accent's a little different. And, it took a little while to get used to it because not everybody there's been drinking. The speech is a little slurred by culture and custom, I think, not necessarily being under the influence. But there were moments when it was, hard to discern what folks were saying, and I might have to put some subtitles on. But I think we got the gist of what was happening.
I loved their accents. I thought it was really cool because it kind of, if you didn't know any better, you could almost think it's like a very light Boston accent. But
That is what I got when I first moved out here. My landlord out here, I was like, "So you're from New York, right?" He's like, "No, I'm born and raised out here." It's a slow Brooklyn accent.
yes, that's what it is. It's a
slow Brooklyn accent.
Yes, and I really liked their accent. I thought it was very calming.
Yeah, it's
I
slow.
really
It's
liked it.
slow. I
It
agree.
felt a little like ASMR-y to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have been to New Orleans twice.
Yeah.
And I don't even
Enamored?
know. No, the first time I went there, I had one line. I told Angie about this earlier. I had one line with Nicolas Cage. So the movie was filmed there, so I got to go there. And then I went for my bachelorette party, and I was sober the whole time. It was horrible.
Oh, no,
It
you
was
can't
the
be sober
worst.
in the city. I
Oh, it
mean,
was
I'm
terrible.
sorry to people that are, you can be, but
You can if you choose, but I was trying not to. It was just horrible.
ugh,
So
I can
terrible.
imagine. Well, that I think Bonnie, I don't know if it's so much an accent or a stunted vocal fry, but I do
yeah,
think
she's not from here.
she strains the way she speaks, right? She's very,
Yeah, she might be from somewhere in Louisiana, but she's not New Orleans, Louisiana.
I went to, because I had to figure out what was going on with her. I went on to Reddit, which I don't normally do, but at first I went to Google and Google pointed me towards Reddit. But like, I wanted to know if like, so after I watched the part one, I went on to Reddit because I before I
Like,
started
who
part
are these
two,
people?
well, I wanted to know if something was going on with her inner, with her head, with something, because something
Those
wasn't.
eyes.
Someone put on there that they think she had a brain injury. Another person said that she might have been on something. But it made me sad because you could tell she was trying, but you could
To be
also
human.
right, like to be to like understand, but it just wasn't computing for her. I
yeah,
love her
but
mannerisms.
she's a nurse, yeah, or seemingly, Hannah or something,
Was
or
a
Haley said she used to be a nurse,
yeah.
but then
Mhm.
on episode
What kind of
one, they
nurse?
said I worked with her at the hospital, her friend who works at the
Right, yeah.
bar
Yeah.
part time.
Hannah,
I couldn't tell. I tried to be kind about it. In the first episode, I said it's always the low hanging fruit to poke fun at the way people look, whether it's, body shaming, size shaming, Botox shaming,
Just
whatever.
something off,
I
though.
want
But there's
so much
something else
Botox.
going on, and I wanted to be like, well, maybe it is a TBI, right? Maybe she had a traumatic brain injury. Maybe she has a degenerative bone disease. Maybe she's got all kinds of stuff we don't know. But you're right, Reddit is rarely kind. They talked a lot
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
her,
PC.
medicated, being heavily medicated. I'm going to call her hyper focused. I chose that instead. I
Yeah,
think
there's something going on.
When the restaurant was doing better, like their 2-month update, she was so much more vibrant.
Yeah,
yes,
she had lipstick.
Yeah, she like
Yes.
looked.
she looked healthier, like
Yes.
physically, like and
yes.
so I think a lot of that could have just been like
Just stress?
depression and stress,
Strung out from
I
work.
think so. I think
situational
so.
Depression.
I think so. I don't think
No.
Camille offered a warm and fuzzy, endearing environment at the end of
What did
every
he
night.
offer, though?
Yeah.
What did he offer?
Well, I saw Reddit
Money.
say some things too.
What did he offer?
Prescription pads.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Love is love, man. It's whatever. They've got something. We didn't get
Love is so
we
funny.
didn't get
It's
the behind
horrible
the
to her.
scenes.
Love is love.
Love is love. Love is love.
Yeah.
But I called this the episode "Bonnie's Not a Bot." Right? I think this
Yeah.
was the time where we saw humanity, and
Yeah.
but I mean, the way she teared up when she found out that Nathan was going to get a mentor in the kitchen and he was
Yeah.
going to get to realize his potential. I felt that was genuine. I felt she was really feeling for those kids and wanting them to have a future and to grow, and that she was going to be part of providing that. I think I saw her kind of come alive and almost be semi-maternal, and that was
Yeah, like
something that was great.
Yeah, like she
100%.
wanted this, like, it was something about Camille coming in and, like, maybe him being there was a weird force that, like, made her be like, all right, so I have to separate myself. I have to talk to them like this. Cause when she apologized and stuff to them, she's like, I'm so sorry. Cause they're like, do you see what happens when somebody comes in and criticizes and doesn't let you like
Right.
think
Yep.
or just try? Like, she's like, oh my God, I can't believe, I'm so sorry I did this to you all. So
didn't-
I think it was
yeah,
the thing with
she felt
Camille, like
bad.
being an influence, just being like, you have to be the boss, you have to do this. And then she was finally like, oh, so this is what working with having nothing is. So, yeah.
She just didn't know. I feel like this happens a lot. I don't know about the restaurant industry, but I feel like a lot of the time in like smaller corporations, like smaller offices where someone's promoted, but they might not have, they don't know how to quite delegate. So they aren't able to, like, they may be a great person, not all the time, but they may do their job well, but they don't know how to say, I will do this, you can do this. If you don't have the properties to do this and you have questions, come to me. I've definitely been in the position before where there's been someone that just is terrible at delegation, and it makes them horrible to work with.
Yeah, 'cause
Definitely.
they're like, well, why can't you do this job? And it's like, do you even know what this job is?
Definitely.
Like,
And
Definitely.
you do it.
you haven't given
know
me
how to do it.
you haven't
That's
given me the
thing.
tools to do this job, so I can't. Like, you can't.
Yeah, the
you
leadership,
put
the
them
leadership was non-existent, right? I mean, there was
No.
no confident or competent leader in that entire restaurant, save maybe the manager. But
Yeah.
even she was young, 14th generation waitress, whatever. She was
Doesn't
still
mean that she's
looking.
done it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was
Well,
looking for some direction, I think, and
but
she
I
didn't have it.
she was, of course she was looking for direction, but I actually did like her, and I thought that when push came to shove, I mean, if the owner can't, it is so incompetent that they can't go to tables to acknowledge wrongdoing,
Right.
and you send your much younger manager. I
Yes.
think I think she had a lot on her shoulders. I actually give her a lot of props because I did like her.
Yeah.
I didn't understand though how Nate. I liked Nate, by the way, but how did he get the job? If he had absolutely
It's-
no, and the other guy who said I microwave at home, I just don't
Yeah.
understand how all of a sudden they became head
It's
head
this
chefs and
situation out here. It's when somebody like a business starts and they get the group that they're like, so here's what we want. Here's what we want to do. So let's go. We have the potential. This is the plan. This is what I'm promising you. And suddenly you bring like, I'm now a bartender at the job that my husband was working at for a handful of months, and now I'm also a bartender there. Like, we're just like, so now I'm invested because this is our livelihood. So we just kind of like snowball and grab people in and like, what if we all just kind of take over? Like, it's a weird. The working situation out here is. I've lived in a handful of different places. I've lived in Vegas. I've lived in the East Coast. I've lived all over. And this working situation where somebody that has money is like, let's go. Once this goes off, everybody's going to prosper. So it's like, okay, so let's bring the people in and get there. It is weird that an apprentice plumber ended up being the chef. Like, I don't.
Yeah, we need a backstory there, like
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there
wanna
had to have
know.
been a
Spin-off.
different person that was a chef, and they
Yeah.
left because they were like, "This is nonsense." And so the manager was like, "Hey,
it didn't seem that
friend
way
of
to
the
me.
family,
It
come
seemed
here."
like the manager got him the job.
Yeah,
She got the job. I don't think there was another
Yes.
chef. I really
Yeah,
don't.
I think they
He didn't
were
know- he didn't put onions in the cheeseburger. Like he didn't know
right.
what
Right.
to do. But I
but
want
you
to
also,
circle.
yeah, you don't put onions in it. But yeah,
I got the impression that it was a struggling establishment and that Camille came in and bought it. And he envisioned more of an entertainment venue. I don't think he put a lot of thought into the cuisine, into the kitchen. I think he was like, let's get this up and running. He's the one who chose the decor. I mean, clearly they didn't have professionalism in mind from the jump. I think it was, let's get this going and see what happens. And
then once
thankfully,
somebody comes in, we'll fix it. We'll fix
Right.
these things later.
and I think Bonnie was probably brought in as like Camille's too busy to take care of it. Bonnie, you take care of it. Haley was competent enough that they could be hands off for a while, and
Yeah,
then
it'd
they
be
just
too
saw it go off the
expensive.
rails. Yeah.
it would be too expensive to hire a Bonnie
Yeah.
as opposed to
Well, we know that Bonnie
have
can't be
Bonnie.
in the kitchen, right? What we
Yeah.
saw this week is that Bonnie, God bless her, I'm going to give her so many props for not crying and running. If anybody's a fan
Yeah.
of Kitchen Nightmares, and I assume you are if you're listening, you know, if
Hey,
Gordon yells at you long enough, you break down. You either
Yeah.
cuss and
If
curse and get
Gordon looks
defensive,
my way
or
and
you leave.
sneezes, I'm gonna break down.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to give her props. She didn't, but I kind of got emotional watching the trajectory of the second episode
Mm-hmm.
because it they're usually the backstories get you, right? Like they want a little bit of emotion.
Yeah.
But this one
Yeah.
just seemed so like I felt more for the staff. Bonnie, I was
Yeah,
like,
I didn't
yeah, I
care about
want
those
you to
owners at
succeed,
all.
whatever. But
Yeah.
it was really the staff. I was like, I don't want these people to lose their livelihood until they get their plan B, which they did say that they had. I have to
Yeah.
circle back around to something you said. You lived in Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't know if you don't know this about me because this is the first time we're officially
Hello.
meeting. I love Vegas. Like I become a degenerate when I go to Vegas. I love gambling. I love drinking and gambling. I love drinking and gambling. I
So I lived out there for 12 years. I got there when I was a sophomore in high school. I lived there. I've lived in New England all before then. And
What
I
a
moved
place to come of age in Vegas.
seriously, yeah,
Yeah,
no
'cause you
fake
can't,
IDs
like-
in Vegas. You can't get into anything.
Yeah, because you go to a movie theater that's in our local casinos out there. You go to a bowling alley that's in our local casinos out there. Like it's really interesting because like
That's crazy.
the outskirts of at once you get past the strip, there's still casinos all over the place,
Right.
but that's also just everybody's livelihood and stuff.
Yeah.
And we can cut this if you need to, but just a heads up, my saying after living here in New Orleans for a while, Vegas is New Orleans' cokehead little sister. She does not need to go off so much. She needs to calm down. She's a little too expensive. She's
That's
trying to be cool like
fantastic.
her older sister, New Orleans. Nah, calm down, babe.
Now, does New Orleans have riverboats? You got riverboat casinos there?
Wait, are there casinos in New Orleans?
There is one. There was after Katrina. There was a rule that was made. Caesars, which it was Bally's, but now it's Caesars. It's Caesars Group. I used to work for the call center for Caesars out in Vegas, and so they're all combined. And so Caesars made a deal with New Orleans that said there's no other casinos allowed to be in Orleans Parish, and we're gonna give you all the jobs and so much money and things. They didn't. But yeah, that's the only casino out here. It was Bally's and now they're changing it to Caesars, so it's gonna have the columns and they're renovating it now to make it fancy like Caesars instead of like Harrah's Bally. No, it was
That's
Harrah's,
interesting.
not
Okay,
Bally's.
okay.
It was Harrah's casino in New Orleans, and now it's Caesars in New
Okay,
Orleans.
now I'm gonna come back to New Orleans.
Please do.
There you go. Yeah, and go get some oysters at an actual oyster
Actually,
bar.
Not oysters. I'll get beignets. I
Beignets.
don't do the oyster thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, they
I'll
did-
get shrimp and
I told
grits.
them
I'll get
last
shrimp
week.
and grits all day.
Oh yeah, I told him last week. So I'm vegan, but it's not an asterisk for a handful of vegans. I do eat oysters because they don't have a central nervous system. They don't have vertebrae. They're like a plant. They're not like a creature. So I do eat oysters.
Okay.
So we'll figure out a place where we can both go and you get beignets because most
Let's
of those
go.
have animal products in them.
Yeah.
And then I will eat oysters with you.
There you
No,
go.
let's do it.
Or you can
you
sit
go.
next to me while I eat oysters.
I'll sit next to you.
You know what I'm gonna do? So I'm gonna pause for 2 seconds because I have heard something that I need to attend to, which is not usual for me. But I want you to keep talking about what you would eat if you go to New Orleans, and specifically if you would eat it at Iberville based on their new menu.
Yeah.
I wonder what you thought about the way Gordon switched that menu up. But I will return in like 2 seconds.
Okay. What would I eat at Iberville? Well, I would get the shrimp and grits with the
Yeah.
new menu, beignets.
Those little crab cake ball things.
I don't know that I would do that. I don't know.
It's,
I don't
it's
know.
like a different version of boudin. Nah, meh.
I'd
I mean,
have to see it and smell it in order to like actually know whether I'd eat it.
yeah, when you walk in, you're gonna smell and be
Right.
like, okay, I can eat here.
Because if it smells like crab, I'm not going to eat it. But if it
No.
if it doesn't, then I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of where the other what's that beignet place that's super famous?
Oh, Cafe du
Dumont,
Monde.
Cafe Dumont. Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
went there.
What time of day did you go? How long was the line?
Oh, I made everybody go right when they opened so that we wouldn't have to really wait online. So
They are technically, I think, hopefully after COVID, they still are. They're 24 hours. So I would tell people, I'm like, if you're coming out here during popular time, are they 24 hours? They used to be. Because people could go at like 3 in the morning and get beignets from them.
I would.
Right?
Definitely
I mean, it's
would.
donuts.
Yeah, like
It's fried dough.
why not? They're delicious.
Yeah.
What's that show?
Yeah, I'm in the
Mayfair
middle of.
Witches.
Huh?
Mayfair Witches that takes place there.
Yeah,
Right?
my husband and I, Alexander Daddario was out here, and there's this tradition that they do a Stella competition, like a streetcar named Desire, which is based out here.
Stella!
And so there's a competition out at Jackson Square, and it's just who can yell Stella the best. And she was one of the judges this past year because she was filming out here. And I told my husband that. He's like, "Can we?" I was like, I understand that we both also want to very much see Alexander Daddario in real life because she's the most beautiful woman.
So she's gorgeous. And she
Yeah.
just texted me and said her dog is stuck in the fence.
Oh
She has to
God.
help retrieve him.
All right.
She'll be back ASAP. And this is why we have editing. Should we maybe just leave and come back?
Yeah. Let's. We'll.
I'm gonna leave the.
Yeah. I'll. We can walk a. Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah. I'll keep my screen open because I've got king cakes that I am filling and braiding and stuff right now because
Okay.
I make and bake and sell king cakes during Mardi Gras season. So I will fill king cakes. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I do traditional. I make my own cream cheese. I do an Oreo cream cheese, and I do a strawberry cream cheese with lemon zest. So I've got a couple
Do you
orders that I'm
post
working
it
on.
on Instagram?
Yeah, she posted on my on the last one. She tagged my story, but I can't ship them. They're so heavy. They're like twice as much to ship than they are like what I charge.
Right.
So
No,
so yeah, hopefully people out here will want them, but yeah. I can also send recipes. It just takes a handful of time.
Wait,
'cause
what
the
is
dough
your
has to rise.
Instagram? I'm gonna look
My
at it right now.
Yeah, my king cake one. I also do have like random cross stitches and stuff that I do on there, like smash the patriarchy and things like that. It's made by Maggie.Nola.
Made by Maggie. Made by Maggie. Nola. Why can't I? Oh, found it. Yummy. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hop out for like
Yeah,
um
I'll keep my computer on because
Okay.
I know like uploading things or whatever. So
Okay.
and I just messaged her that I was like, just message me when she's back,
Okay.
and
Yeah. I'll tell
yeah,
you. Yeah. Okay. See you in a bit.
I'll go fill up some. I gotta put some Oreos in some dough right now.
Nice.
All right.
Bye. I'm back.
Hey.
How you doing? How's the doggo?
Okay. Random. Since I didn't hit stop to the podcast, I feel dumb, but this is a learning curve. Um, I'd like to think we have millions of viewers on YouTube. They'll understand. But
We
anyway,
ended it on our end, so.
right? I might need. I'm on call at the moment. So fun story. I have a rat terrier. He's 3-legged. He's a tripod rescue. He's adorable. He's small, and he can get into nearly every crevice. You know how they say mice can get into something about the size of a dime. Chester's pretty much like that, and he has gotten in and out of our fence so often that the back of my yard looks like the junkyard on Sanford and Son because I have taken every piece of random material I can find and wedged it between every fence panel I can find. And he just finds workarounds. And so I bought this donut. It's like this inflatable donut collar that goes around his head that you use like if a dog has had surgery to keep it from licking its wounds. And I put it on him before he goes outside to go potty because that keeps him from fitting through holes. And it's kind of sad and sadistic to watch, but it's also entertaining because he keeps trying to get through and he can't.
Poor
Yeah.
baby.
Only my daughter does not know that I have begun to do this, and she is home and she let Chester out to go potty. And we had snow recently, so there's a lot of snow, a lot of ice, and it's dark. And she said he wasn't coming in, and she tried to find him with her iPhone flashlight, and she just sees half of this little tripod butt hanging off of a fence hole with his donut head stuck halfway through. And of course, it's hard to say. I mean, we don't have a big property, but we have a large backyard, and it's icy out there. So we were slipping, and then we were trying to get him out. And I was like, "Hold the iPhone!" It was a long thing, but we rescued.
Did anybody record this? Because that would be hysterical.
Was he in pain at all, or was he?
I couldn't tell. That's the thing. I also couldn't tell if he was freaking frozen, like a popsicle, because it's like 6 degrees outside. So we rescued our frozen rescue dog from hanging on the fence by an inflatable donut collar, which I did think to film, but didn't because I was kind of in a panic mode and also thinking, what about the podcast? Oh my God, I left it running and this is embarrassing. And I think he was okay, but he was just kind of shaky, and I couldn't tell if he's shaky because he's cold shaky because he's hurt or scared. So
a rat terrier that's cold, he's fine.
Right, he has like no fur on his body, no body fat. I mean, I'd lend him some of mine if it were possible, but I can't. But I told my daughter, I said, keep an eye on him. If he acts weird, send me a text, but he should be fine. So that's where I'm at.
We have one of those out here in New Orleans right now. His name is Scrim. He has been known for months. People have been trying to catch this dog. His name is Scrim.
Oh, he lives on the street?
He's a street dog? Yeah,
he's a street dog.
No,
but they're just like, we need to get this dog. He's like, this is going to be a problem. And somebody finally, from one of the rescue places, finally caught him and had him for a couple days. And she had to leave her house. She was fostering. She was taking care of him. And her Ring camera footage shows he was in the second story. And you see Scrim drop. Just into the yard, and he knew exactly where the hole was in the yard. Like, he didn't even have to shake it off. He was just like dropped down from the second story and zoomed into the hole in her yard. And he has been gone for another 3 weeks since. He has the chip in his collar, the battery died, so she can't track him. So we just have to there's a page that's like find Scrim. He has wandered all over the city. We're just trying to get Scrim back.
Oh, what a cool way for the
streets.
What a good way for the city to rally around something positive.
Oh my God, it's been
in the wake of all that tragedy to be like, everybody's finding Scrim. We're gonna rescue Scrim, right?
As we're decorating parade floats, people are decorating because the parade floats that are going to be coming for Mardi Gras for carnival season throughout the next couple months. And they're huge. They're giant things with Aphrodite and Bacchus and all these different things. And one of them has we've seen it at one of the places. They've shown a picture of a giant Scrim that's going to be on the front of one of these floats.
Oh my God. It's like the Mardi Gras mascot. That's awesome.
He is.
When is Mardi Gras?
So Mardi Gras, it changes. Okay. The latest it can be is March 9th because it's based on Catholic holidays. Carnival season starts 12th night, which is the 12th night after Christmas, because that's when the 3 wise men got to the manger or whatever. So that's when carnival season starts. And
You
then
don't
it's
celebrate
based
that
on,
in the Jewish tradition, do you, Ashley?
No.
Yeah, okay, just checking.
yeah,
I see Ashley's like taking notes. She's like,
yeah, the
okay,
only
got
thing
it.
it's close to is it's based
Yeah,
on
we drink a
Easter.
lot, but
We got that in common.
exactly.
So yeah, we have 12th night, and that's when carnival season starts, and then it's based on moon phases, which I'm like, fun fact, you guys, this is heathen. Anyway, because then it's like,
So all the Catholics are like, Mardi Gras is our thing. Okay, yeah, no,
okay,
wait,
kids,
read
that's
a book.
cute. Yeah, Jesus wasn't born in December. Fun fact.
Right.
So it's the 12th night after Christmas, and then based on moon phases, because it's Easter is 40 days after Mardi Gras, which is Fat Tuesday, because then it's
Right.
Ash Wednesday is when you
Right.
start Lent and you give up something for 40 days and 40
Right.
nights, and then it's Easter, which is close to Passover.
Got it.
That's so then we have from
And
either
this year,
like last
Easter's
year.
after Passover.
Hmm.
This year, Easter's late. It's like April 20th.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah, our
pretty
Mardi
sure
Gras, like
Passover
Mardi Gras is a
is
very late time
before
because
that
last
this year.
year, Mardi Gras was February like 13th, which is one of the earliest times.
That's
like,
really early, yeah.
yeah. And then this one, it's gonna be, so it's the Tuesday before my birthday, which is that Friday. So March 4th is gonna be Mardi Gras this year.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, it's fun because then we all just have to we have to just plan,
Yeah.
like figure it out what's gonna happen. So when everybody was saying like, oh, the Super Bowl's during Mardi Gras, it's gonna be crazy. Super Bowl is a month before Mardi Gras this year. So when they come out here for that, we still have another month of partying, and then Mardi Gras happens.
Right. Well, we have
It's a
after
lot. It's exhausting.
I'm trying to think like after this, so we're going to recap the next 2 episodes of Kitchen Nightmares because they're still in New Orleans leading up to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And if you didn't catch it, you would have been reminded about 30 times in a half hour by all of the NFL shameless plugging. But after that is when the Floor season 3 premieres, and we're going to do some Floor weekly recaps, Maggie. So you're invited back for that, of course. But speaking of floats at Mardi Gras, did anybody notice in the Iberville Cuisine redo of the aesthetic that what they did to the piano bar? I thought that was weird. I thought it looked like a Mardi Gras float. I mean, there were beads all over it, plastic palm trees.
Oh, Maggie
I was very excited about it actually.
Tell me your feelings because I thought it was a little.
What it looks like.
So that's what like artists from artists in New Orleans, they get brought in and they get commissioned to put pieces onto floats, and those flowers are huge things. They get put onto floats, like it's a big thing. And so for Mardi Gras 2020, we were blamed for spreading coronavirus everywhere.
What? Wait, I didn't hear that. What do you mean?
I thought it was China. I thought it was rats in China.
So it started in Seattle, and then Mardi Gras, because everybody comes here, this is like throughout the world, people come here for Mardi Gras Day. A huge amount of people that are in parades and stuff, they got it, and it's unfortunately a very just economically not great group. Like the Zulu parade is a huge one on Mardi Gras Day, and like 7 of the people, like huge, like big members of that parade, of that crew, passed because of coronavirus.
Oh wow.
Like I went on my bike to Bourbon Street and people were dressed in like there was a couple that dressed as Corona bottles, and they had masks on because we knew it was a thing, but it wasn't a thing yet. Like
Right.
and so then but we were like a super spreader for it essentially. So we got to do Mardi Gras for 2020 because it was in February, and then 2021 there wasn't a vaccine yet, so we did house floats. So because we couldn't do Mardi Gras, there were not floats. We didn't do Mardi Gras for 2021. There were not parades. It was shut down. It was a huge thing because that's so much money for us. It was gone. So all those artists didn't have a place to get paid to make pieces. So they took.
Oh.
So what they did is everybody that could afford it on their homes, we had there's a book of like Mardi Gras house floats, and you could go in your car and drive around and see house floats on Mardi Gras Day, so that you weren't around people and be in your little thing and everything like that. And still in 2021, So that's that. I saw that and I was like, that's really exciting. That's artists that did like the house floats. And
So
they got put on
the
different
decor that they used was actual like Mardi Gras
That's what's on floats.
artistry. That's what was
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what's on floats. I saw that. I was so
Very
excited.
cool.
Okay. See, I didn't.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
weird.
said that because I
Yeah, it
honestly.
looks like a caricature of something if you don't know what it is. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, "That's house.
Yeah.
That's house float artists. That's artists that make pieces for floats and stuff."
See, yeah. So for
So-
Right,
outsiders,
there you
it
go.
it looked
Really
like somebody went to the clearance
Yeah.
aisle at Party City and just decided to throw it all together. And I'm like, there had to be some intentionality, and now I
Yeah, that's
understand
a
that there's
huge-
more.
Angie, you
saw it
have
and I
got to
recognized it.
learn how to form an opinion because we are never going to get anywhere.
I'm sorry. I am thankful for the education. I have to say that, and I'm
I have a
humbled by it.
ridiculous amount of New Orleans knowledge. Like I've been here 10 years, and when my husband and I tell people stuff, they've lived here all their lives, and like they're just
See,
They're
that's
so,
why.
We
like,
should start doing
regular-
those walking tours.
Yeah,
yeah,
she-
well,
yeah.
my husband had his own tour company. We got our tour guide licenses because you can't be a tour guide without getting a license. So his degree is in French and Spanish colonial history and languages. So this place is I know way
Bam.
too much about this place.
I know. Well, but
Wait.
can he make a hamburger?
Right.
He will not
Put
put
onions
onions that are giant chunks of onions inside
Anybody
of a burger.
see-
I'll
yeah.
tell you that right now.
I do think I want to hit like 3 points on that show, and then
Yeah,
I
let's
wanna
get into the
just
show. Sorry.
move Bonnie. No. I mean, that's the best part of this. It's just like squirrel. You know, there's all these fun things to chase. I got my dog on my mind. Clearly, you know, he also chases
Squirrel.
squirrels. But it was, you know, I wanted to say that. 3 quick things. I was upset that they didn't turn that courtyard into an oyster bar like we talked about.
Yeah.
I thought that was a missed opportunity.
That should have been an open oyster bar.
Yeah, I mean, how do you call yourself an oyster bar? And it appeared the only oysters served were oysters Rockefeller.
right.
that
That
was
was it. Yeah.
I mean, it's an appetizer. That's not a concept. It's not a restaurant concept. So that was bizarre to me. The burgers, for the love of Pete, not a single burger was burger shaped.
What's my connection?
That's
going?
I noticed that too. They all look like stringy and like
Yeah.
had things coming out of them. Like none of them were patties.
No. And how do you do a smash burger on a
grill
grated
like
grill?
that.
Like
No
trying to smash raw
way.
meat through the grill
Right.
is gonna like
You go
what?
through.
I know, girl. Okay, so you saw that. I also thought it was funny that they couldn't put the potato slicer together, but then nobody throughout the episode was using the potato slicer. There was a
Yeah.
scene of Gordon cutting potatoes with a knife. There was a scene of Sammy cutting potatoes
I
with a
feel
knife.
like that was something they were trying to like get back at Bond.
Uh-huh. And that's the part that I thought, you know, when you think about the production, and it's something we always want to talk about on this
editing.
show, is the editing, the production, the scripting, how so much of reality, as we already know, is produced. And I do think that was a moment of, hey, let's show people how dumb she is, which wasn't terribly fair because, again, it didn't appear that that was even a tool that was used in that kitchen.
No one, right?
Um,
no, yeah. By the
yeah.
way, chopping is like professional grade chopping is really difficult. Like,
Yeah.
really difficult.
Yeah.
Consistency, like having it the same, and yeah, I agree with you. Her knife skills were awful. God bless her. But
She is not a restaurateur. Okay?
Yeah.
She's not a
I'm
chef.
sure Nate's knife skills were not any.
Right.
Right,
He wouldn't be able to
exactly.
cut an
I
onion
think-
either.
right.
And
Well, she's a
certainly not-
runway model, didn't she? You know, she's got her Zoolander look. She's a nurse.
I
she's
think
a model.
I think
Blue
she's
Steel.
biting her inner cheek. I do that sometimes too when I'm thinking. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know this isn't visual for everybody who's still listening, but I think we're all
Yeah,
trying to
we're
talk
all
about
just making the
it right
faces now.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
we're literally just like doing like an odd enhanced duck
Yeah.
face.
She did remind me, did anybody ever see that it was a viral YouTube video? It was like the Harry Potter and like Balenciaga. Did anybody
Yes,
ever
I
see
saw
that?
it. I saw it. My husband loved it. He said
Yeah.
he
It
thought
is
was
so
the
it's so cringy, stupid to love, but I love it too. And every time I saw Bonnie, all I kept thinking was Balenciaga.
Balenciaga. Yeah,
Balenciaga.
yeah.
There is no good or evil. There's only Balenciaga and those who choose not to seek it. I was like, if you're listening, you got to check that out. YouTube, Harry Potter and Balenciaga. And I was like, that is her.
That is so. That's actually very, very true.
Yeah,
That's
I know I
really
have to work
true.
on having opinions, but that is one that I think is absolutely spot on. I think I was very much Team Bonnie in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I just wanted to end on that. I know we give her some grief. I know she's going to get grief. If she does have anything going on that's medically related, I hope, she gets it figured out. But quite frankly, like we said at the start of the show, she seemed to come alive and be more alive. And the way she commanded the room, I'm Bonnie. I kicked Clyde to the curb tonight. I'm Bonnie. I'm the owner of Iberville. I hope you're
That
enjoying
was
your
so
time.
cool when
Yeah.
Gordon was just like, you're a silent investor. You need to get out of here. And he was
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
what?
I like that. I love how he was like, "Oh well, I might come back and hang out here again." Like,
I got
no
so
one
angry when
wanted
he
you
said that.
like, the whole point was to get you out.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's why the decorated piano area, I'm sure they didn't address this, but I
Recover,
hope
yeah.
they bring in bring in a pianist, bring in a performer, have
There's
some
enough of
live
us out
music.
here.
Right? But I think that would be really smart of them to bring some of that in. But I do think they're going
Yeah.
to be successful. It'll be fun to see, in a month, 2, 3, 6, see if there's an update on Iberville. And when we get it, we'll revisit it on the show. But until we catch this next week, what are you guys going to be watching? What are you watching for fun these days? Ashley, what are you into?
Okay, let me tell you. I am watching this show called Younger. It's on Netflix.
I love it.
It's not a new show. You've seen it.
No, yeah, it's older. It used to be on MTV
MTV.
production.
It's Darren
Yes.
Star, who did
Yes.
Sex and the City and is now doing Emily in
And
Paris.
Melrose Place. I
Okay,
Oh,
think.
wow.
Melrose
That's
That's a
a
good,
Yeah.
that's a good lineup. That's a good lineup. I've been watching Sex in the City.
I love Sex and
Well,
the City.
Younger's a lot like Sex in the City. Go ahead, Ashley. Tell me why you love it.
I honestly, so here's the thing. Years ago, I'm talking when the show was maybe in its second season, if it was even then, someone told me to watch it. I watched the first episode and I was like, for some reason I can't get into this. Cut to now, it shows up on Netflix. I see the trailer and I'm like, you know what? I love Hilary Duff. I love
Yes.
Darren Star.
Let's go.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm gonna try this. And Sutton Foster, I also
Love her.
because I love her.
So that's
every
that's
Broadway
the
show
star.
she's-
Maggie hasn't seen Younger,
Yeah.
and neither have our. If anybody listening's
So-
not seen Younger, it stars Sutton Foster. And
I'll
do you want to tell the
what it's
premise?
about.
Ashley,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So it's about this 40-year-old woman who is divorcing her husband, but she got married and pregnant at 22 years old. So she is now re-entering the workforce 18 years later. She can't get hired. So her friend tells her she looks very young. Younger, because 40 is young.
Younger. Yeah.
She
Thank you.
says,
Thank you, by the
look
way.
you look younger for your age. Why don't you try putting that on your resume and seeing if you get an assistant job? And she does, and it's just her trials and tribulations in love and acting a certain age and blah, blah, blah. And but it's just so good.
It's so good.
And even
It's
the
so
love
good.
usually when there's like a really intense love triangle, I get like defensive of certain people. This show, for some reason, it does it in a way where I'm not angry at either one. I definitely I see the good in both. I also see like why it couldn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
doesn't
And I think, well, I'm going to ask you if I'll tell you right now, I'm Team Charles. So for any fans of the show, basically Sutton Foster's character, Liza, gets a job in publishing, and she comes across two potential suitors. One is this super young, hot tattoo artist, played by Nico Tortorella. And he is just gorgeous, like gorgeous all day.
He's a
But
pretty
he's
guy.
young, like Liza's like 22, fake age young. But he tries to pick
he's
her
like
up.
27.
Is he even older than what she?
She was pretending to be 26.
Oh yeah. That's right.
He was
That's
like
right.
25. I think he said something
That's
like, "Oh,
right.
you're probably just 2 years older than me. What are you?"
That's right. And she
26?"
laughs and it's like, yeah, right. But she has a daughter too, who's like in her young 20s. So that's
18.
kind of weird,
The daughter
right?
was like going to freshman year.
Yeah, and then
abroad.
she went to India. I can't remember, but Yeah, so Nico Tortorello plays Josh, who's very cute and tries to pick up Liza, and Liza's kind of into it and reliving, the good old days. But then there's this really handsome publisher, played by Peter Herman. Fun fact, married to Mariska Hargitay, and
I did
he
not know
is,
that.
yeah, and he
Oh,
is
I love
older.
that.
And he's more of her contemporary if she were acting, and being her true age. And he can't understand how this young, plucky, assistant editor type is so mature.
Right. With her
And
words,
I
too.
love him. I think he is like so debonair and handsome. So my daughter and I watch it together. And so I'm 51. So I'm all Team Charles and my kid is Team Josh. And so we're always just kind of seeing where it goes. But I agree with you. It's really fun and it's on Netflix for a whole new generation of people to love.
I'm loving it. But I will say I'm not really doing a team thing here because I see the love. She clearly shares a wonderful, beautiful love with Josh that she didn't have in her marriage.
Yes.
So I'm all about that. I think it's lovely. But I also see the unrequited love with her and Charles that they really, I mean, I'm in season 5 right now, which by the way, there are 12 episodes per season. I got to season 5 in like 4 days. So
Yeah,
like, that show is like,
it is binge worthy for sure.
it's so good.
Nice.
But I'm team both of them. I'm not teams because I can see the value in both. I just think it comes down to whether Josh can live without having kids.
Maybe we're Team Liza.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I'm team Liza.
Oh, there, we're Team Liza. Yeah,
Like
I like that. Girl power.
I'm team Liza.
Girl power. And so you guys watch Sex in the City, right?
Oh.
I heard Maggie say she's watching that, and fun fact,
I haven't watched it since my brother got me into it when we were younger.
and I've never seen an episode, not a one. And
Maggie,
my generation should have been watching, and I just missed that boat entirely.
You should watch it right now. Watch it
It's
now.
just-
You're gonna love it. Maggie, are you a Charlotte, Samantha, Carrie, or Miranda?
I think, like, I'm probably a Carrie, but I'm not like in
But
the
you're not like the selfish
exhibitionist
Carrie?
type, like in the sexualness of them.
Is
like
that Kim?
in
Kim
that part of
Cattrall?
it, I'm a Carrie, but I'm a
Yeah.
decent person as compared to all of them. They're all so selfish. They're so
I-
self-involved.
I think as we get older, we realize how selfish Carrie and Miranda are. I think Miranda's a terrible person.
And like Samantha's just like, this is who I am. Why are
Yeah,
you
but that's
judging
the
me?
thing. I like her for
It's
that.
not. She's not selfish at all. She's like, this is who I am.
Right.
Don't judge me or judge me.
I think Samantha is goal oriented, but I don't think she's selfish.
Yeah,
I think
she's the least selfish out of all of them. Like
but
Charlotte
I
expects.
didn't think Charlotte was selfish. I think Charlotte was both goal oriented but also life oriented, and she had certain ideals for her life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't characterize her as selfish.
Yeah, I grew up around waspy people, so I'm just like about her personality. But I get that like she's who she is and she accepts that and she's like take it or leave it. Like
I think I'm a Charlotte.
Charlotte and Samantha
I'm a
are
Jewish
weirdly
Charlotte.
similar.
Right, they are. I think I am Charlotte when she marries Harry, because I'm a
I'm so
Jewish
excited because
Charlotte.
I'm at the point right now where she's just with Trey.
Oh, well, no
Now,
one
how
wants to
many
see that show.
seasons? How many? I know that there was like a reunion or there was like an after
Oh, I
season.
don't want to watch the just like
or-
that. That
or like a
sounds-
Oh, I know
reboot or
it's horrible.
something. How about the original? How many seasons in the original? If I'm gonna watch it, I just gotta know what I'm committing to.
I think there's 6 seasons that are
And those
split.
two
That
movies.
are split 2 movies. Yeah, and just like that, I think I watched the first couple episodes, or maybe I even watched the first season. Haven't seen any other episodes. It was so disrespectful to
I heard it was.
fans.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll avoid that.
ruined the characters. I mean, they
Yeah.
did things that made no sense for each and every character, and also the way they talked about how Kim Cattrall's character Samantha.
Yeah,
wasn't
Samantha's
it made
not
no
in
sense.
there.
It would have been better had they said her cancer came back, and unfortunately, she
Yeah,
died.
she like just kill her. Like
because them saying, "Oh, she."
So is that a
moved
big
and-
spoiler? Like now, am I just okay?
no, it's
Yeah,
like
she was like
well
25
known.
years old. Like,
Okay,
Titanic
I got it.
sank in the end.
Yeah,
Like, spoiler alert.
yeah.
Well, I mean, if I haven't spoiled it by now, I haven't been living in the world, right? I mean, I know enough of the pop culture references to follow along, I think. I also forgot to mention, Ashley, do you know who Sutton Foster's with now? Do you know who she's dating?
Hugh Jackman, right?
Hugh Jackman. Isn't that crazy? He left his wife.
Well, she
for
left her
Sutton.
husband.
Well, because I heard other
Wait a
rumors
minute.
about who Hugh Jackman
Yeah.
might have been with, and it was not
A woman.
ladies.
Yeah, I
well,
heard that too. But here's my thing: he
I think
didn't
it's
leave
the-
his wife for Sutton. He and his wife had not been together, if I'm not mistaken, for quite some time.
They had separate
And
lives.
Sutton
I believe
filed,
they
and
did.
then-
I believe what's her name, Deborah Furness, I think is her name. I believe they had look. Gossip's not my jam, but I do read Us Weekly occasionally in the doctor's office, and this I have on like high authority. Okay. Also, Ben Affleck apparently likes Starbucks and plugs his own parking meter because stars are just like
they're
us.
just like us.
They're just like us. I think that there was something in the theater world where Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster had crossed paths at some point, and then they were in some productions together. And I
Yeah,
think that it was a
weren't they in-
denied relationship for a while, and now it's an official relationship, which caused people to wonder if it had been
That's
something
weird.
that was ongoing. But I don't know.
Kids are messy.
I
was
wouldn't
a
say he
kid
left
in high
her
school.
for. I
Kids
mean,
are
that's
messy.
just. It's just
I
surprising.
don't think either. I think when you start saying things like he or she left their significant other for someone else, like you get into like territory that's not
Yeah, I don't want to call her
Yeah,
a
that means
homewrecker
their
or
that means
anything like
their
that.
actual relationship was already done, and that's why they were.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's very
basically
fair.
that, yeah.
That's very fair. I misspoke. I do think they had one of
Yes.
the. Didn't Hugh Jackman and his wife though have one of those like really long romances, like Kurt Russell?
Well,
and
yeah, they were
Goldie
together
Hawn?
for a
Yeah, they were
while,
together
like
for a
30
while,
something.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think there's just been a lot of speculation
Like Pierce
about.
Brosnan and his wife.
Yeah, Keely
They're
Shea
still
Smith.
together. Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah,
They
Pierce Brosnan and
are.
his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
and
love that for them.
they've gone through trauma. Like one of their kids
They have-
died.
Yeah, they've had a lot.
That's a tough thing for a couple to go through.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
but Sutton
horrible.
Foster, I mean, she is young looking for her age. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, she's
It
gorgeous.
is.
She's killing
Yeah,
it.
she's Fiona. She was Fiona in Shrek on Broadway.
Oh, she's been in
Um,
so much, right?
She's been in a lot. She tap dances too.
She does.
Yeah.
My neighbor
Any Gilmore Girls people.
in theater school with her actually.
Wait,
Yeah,
My
any
name-
Gilmore Girls people. She was in A Year in the Life with Gilmore Girls, where they
Oh,
kept saying
yeah.
she was Kinky Boots.
Yeah, she is. That's right.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Yep.
god.
Yep.
You know what? That's another thing that was disrespectful towards fans because Rory getting pregnant and having no drive in
Oh,
her
come
30s
on. That was
just-
not
it
Rory.
made no
that
sense.
No.
that was Amy Sherman Palladino's plan for the last 4 words of that show. That was she like starting that show. Those were the mom. It was like mom, and then she says, "Yeah, I'm pregnant." Sorry, spoilers, kids. But that was
yeah.
that's what she
Spoiler
wanted. That's how
alert.
she wanted
For
it
the
to
original
end.
show.
Yeah, the original show. That's
Wow.
how she wanted it to end.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
And yeah, because she had known for a while. She's like, I know the last 4 words of the show,
That's
and that's what
crazy.
it was supposed to be. But the way the Year in Life did, like, I'm so obsessed with Gilmore Girls. I love it. My husband is finally like doing a full watch through with me.
Well, you
which
guys
is fun.
were weren't you them for Halloween? Didn't you dress up as
Yeah, we were
Lorelai
them for Halloween.
and Luke for
and-
Halloween? Yeah.
Yeah, we were Luke and Laura. I got a tie-dye top and I put
Yeah,
shorts
yeah,
on and
cowboy
like boots and
boots,
stuff. I
yeah.
did like
Very
Rory's
cute.
first bag.
So when A Year in the Life happened, it came out 2 months after I got married. Luke and Lorelai's wedding, year and date is my husband and my wedding anniversary.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
Yeah, I was
love
watching it because he was like at work or whatever because he wasn't into Gilmore Girls yet, and I just took a picture of like Luke and Lorelai, November 5th, 2016. I was like, it's our wedding.
Oh my
It
god,
was
that's
so
cute.
sweet, and yeah, my husband's an amalgam of like Luke Danes, Nick from New Girl, Jim from The Office. He's like,
Oh, I
I'm
love
solid
Nick.
weird boys.
I'm New Girl. I love New Girl.
Have you seen One Tree Hill? Anybody? Because I'm trying to
Yes.
get my husband to watch that.
Dude, I remember One Tree Hill. I remember
best show
Chad
on
Michael
television.
Murray. Wasn't that Chad Michael Murray
Yeah,
in
but
that?
Nathan
Yep,
Scott
I
is
did.
really Nathan.
Nathan Scott was the basketball with the dark hair, right?
and Haley, Nathan and Haley. Mm.
Yes.
I did the OC instead of One Tree Hill. I made my choice into that one.
I liked the OC the first 3 seasons. Then Marissa dies,
And then it
and
just
it went
But
really
it
I had
wasn't-
people that- I
wasn't
couldn't-
the
I couldn't
Hills-
keep-
Oh,
Wasn't the Hills a spinoff of OC?
not even in the
Oh,
slightest.
it was,
the Hills,
Laguna
the Hills
Beach?
was a reality show.
Yeah, but
And
it was a spinoff of
Laguna
something
Beach,
else.
which was
Laguna
the real
Beach.
OC.
No,
yeah,
I'm with
Laguna
you.
Beach and then the Hills.
No, I'm with you. I remember
Just-
Laguna Beach, OC. I was getting my Southern California people confused.
Yeah, and they would
back.
watch the OC on Laguna Beach. And they're like, apparently people love this. And I'm like, yeah, you girls are rich. Enjoy.
That's why. That's why I
loved-
conflated them.
I
Okay,
loved,
Oh,
and
I
then
love
Steven
Laguna
from
Beach.
Laguna Beach was on One Tree Hill.
there you go.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I knew there's some incestuous stuff going on there.
Of course.
Something's
of course.
happening. A lot of cross pollination. I will say.
Yeah,
Incestuous
from different
isn't-
networks.
I forgot to tell you about watching the show. One of the groups that was waiting for their burgers and oysters. One of my old. I have moved on from that trivia show because it was so big and I was so tired. It was like 70 people would play trivia at my show one time. I was like, somebody else needs to take over. I'm tired. But that was one of my regular teams. Like I saw them and I was like, I know them. they were like one of the regular teams from my old trivia, one of my old trivia gigs that I would do
on the show on last night's episode.
Wait, that's
on the
so
episode.
funny. I love that.
Seriously,
Yeah, they were waiting for burgers and oysters when they had Bonnie making food, and it was them. I was like, oh, I know that team.
Well,
That's
I
hilarious.
was talking about burgers because now I really want a cheeseburger.
Yeah, I want, honestly, after watching it, I'm like, I want their shrimp and
I want
grits
a
looked
burger that's
amazing.
bad.
And their fresh beignets looked amazing.
that
So
looked
I'll tell you what, if we come down there, I
Yeah.
know Ashley, you're in Miami, right? In Florida. Okay, I'm in St. Louis. And I think we maybe need at some point we'll do some kind of reunion in New Orleans, and
Yeah.
we will
Let's do it.
check out Iberville and see if they've got it together, if they're still keeping it together. But I wish
I
them
will
the
always
best.
laugh at you when you pronounce New Orleans like that.
New
What'd you
Orleans.
say, Nolans?
I
We
said
don't
New
say
Orleans.
that.
You don't say that.
Nope,
You said
not
it-
like that.
You say no, not like that. We come up here and say
Say it,
Chodo.
Maggie. Say it for her.
Say it for us.
New Orleans.
Oh, just New Orleans.
New Orleans.
So it's
Yeah.
not New Orleans. It's New
Nope.
Orleans. New Orleans.
On Sex
No,
and the
that's the
City,
way they
remember
pretend to be from here.
Fleet Week, where they go to the Fleet Week party.
Yep,
and
they come out
The
here.
guy has like such an intense like New Orleans accent, and you could tell it's so fake.
Yeah.
New Orleans.
You can fake it real easy, but
New
nah,
Orleans.
it's just a slow Brooklyn accent.
New Orleans.
yeah.
New Orleans.
Yes,
All right,
hi,
good.
Jess.
Then I won't.
Hello.
I won't make it. I don't want to seem like an outsider. I don't want to be like in St. Louis where I say Grevois and people say, "Get out of your."
Yeah, it's all
you
good. I'll tell
elitist,
how to
you
pronounce
East Coast
Julius.
elitist snob. Awesome. Well, okay. Well, we'll have to check it out sometime next week. Gordon Ramsay tackles another restaurant, and then I believe he moves on to Austin after the
Yeah.
Super Bowl, and then we'll
Yeah,
be
the,
moving
uh,
on.
He had other
Austin.
restaurants that he did out here, but one of them closed already. Since before
Yes,
it came
I
here.
read about that.
No,
That would
be
wait,
interesting.
before it even aired,
Yep,
Yeah.
it was a vegan restaurant that I used to love to go to.
they
and it
have
just
to
did
air it
not-
now. They have to air that episode because now saying like it like 2 months cut to 2 months later.
Yeah,
like they're
that's
done.
crazy. Well,
Yeah,
I
when he came out here, I said it last week. But one of the places that he was here for a couple seasons ago, not only did the business close, the building has been demolished.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Crazy.
So where he's going now is outside of New Orleans, or like outside of where you would normally drive around and do that kind of stuff. But it's gonna be like one of those classic like seafood type of restaurants where you get some boil. Hi babe. Where you get some type of boil and that kind of stuff. And I see him at like you go to like Gulf Shores, Alabama, and
Yeah.
different places like that. It's a very different style. It's not in New Orleans proper-ish.
Got it.
Yeah,
Well, it's
a very
like-
different spot.
the restaurant industry is hard enough, right? But I do think that I want to say like 90% of the restaurants that are featured on Kitchen Nightmares eventually shutter.
Yeah.
It's like they can't be like resurrected, and I think that's really that just
Yeah.
says a lot more probably about the restaurant industry. But
Yeah,
It's
it's,
just-
the people
was
will take
interesting.
they'll take the renovation, they'll take some advice, but they're not gonna change their ways.
right, they're
Yeah.
usually just too stubborn. What are you gonna say, Ash?
Oh, I was just going to say it was very interesting watching this episode, like watching any episode of Kitchen Nightmares. But while I was watching it, baking muffins. So I was in my kitchen while I was watching Gordon Ramsay, and I was like, "What? Like, have Gordon Ramsay in your head? Like, no, you're stupid. What are you doing? This is horrible." Like, and here's the thing, like, I would love to meet him though, because like, one, he's very handsome, and two, like, I would love for him to like try. I don't want to say like try my muffin, but like try.
You did say it. You did say it.
I did
I think
say it.
he's a fan of muffin tops.
I would love to, like, my favorite thing to bake, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of, like, my favorite as opposed to, like, my mom's favorite, like, flourless chocolate brownies. I would love to, like, give him some and see, like, his thoughts.
You're speaking my language. Yeah, Maggie, I don't know if you know Ashley's a baker, and Ashley, I don't know if you know that Maggie's a baker.
We during the dog.
Yeah, I'm filling up my king cakes right now. I got a couple of
good.
right now.
Maggie's gotta go. Maggie's gotta go take care of that.
Well, Ashley,
Joe has risen.
I hope we can do this again. You know, Maggie, Ashley and I talked off pod about the Real Housewives franchise. So if you've ever been into any of those, or which cities were your favorites or least favorites,
I've been coming blind for that. I've seen clips.
I can act out every single like person from New York.
Oh,
like, I'll give you like a full reading. Like
I can't wait. I think honestly, I think a pod reenactment of like some of our favorite scenes would be absolutely awesome.
Go to sleep. You don't even know what I'm talking about. But
it's gonna be so good, so good. I'd love to have you guys back to do that with me. I think we'd have a blast. Ashley, thanks for filling in for Jacob tonight. You've been a pleasure. I can't wait to have you again. I had fun. I could talk to you girls all night, but I'm gonna go and check my dog's neck. You know, I mean, he's only got 3 legs. He can't
Will
afford
you text us and just let us know that he's okay?
I will absolutely.
Your dog's good.
I will absolutely. Chester, we're gonna save the dog in New Orleans too. What's his name again?
Scrim. We'll find Scrim.
Find Scrim. Hashtag find Scrim, everybody. All right, you guys have an awesome weekend ahead. Enjoy the 3-day weekend, and we will catch you next time on Reality Redux. Everybody, take care.
Bye.
Can you guys hang out for a second just to make sure this uploads again, or just leave your screen open with the app running so I can make sure that we get full? Because I got Maggie at 99%. Ashley at 99%. So I'm going to stop recording, and it should be 100% in about 10 seconds here.
Yeah. Sweet.
No, you guys really are fun. I could talk to you about
this is a good time.
Like all day. And yeah, I want to do Real Housewives very much. And so we just have to figure out, I think we'll